Welcome back to our third edition of your Lawton Titan 2024 Coaches Show. And again, we have Coach Dunn. I'm Kirk Norman here, play-by-play call. And Coach Dunn, I can say this. I don't know if it's appropriate for you to say it, but this past week was a beatdown.
Yeah, we weren't quite expecting that it was going to be that kind of game. I think it's just one of those games that kind of snowballed for Eisenhower. A couple bad things went wrong, didn't go their way early on, and I think it just kind of rolled on them. And our kids did a great job of bringing their own energy and not waiting for something big to happen. I think they from the very first snap just really created their own kind of juice and I think hats off to our players. That's a hard trip to make on a Thursday night to Lawton. Cameron Stadium's always a hard place to play on a Thursday, and our kids, I don't think they batted an eye. They handled the road trip, the first one of the year, really well. Went out there and just treated it like it was, and that was a business trip. So really proud of our guys for their effort and just the way they handled it like a mature ball club. We've got a lot of seniors that know how to go on the road, know how to play in big games, and I think that showed the other night.
Well, if those of you don't remember, 70-0, 35-0 at halftime, and so it was pretty evenly divided. You're going to talk a little bit more about your players of the week, but quite honestly, the beginning of the game, the middle of the game, the end of the game, there were players of the week across the board. Even some guys that rarely play were coming up big.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about some of the people that kind of stand out in your mind.
Right. Yeah. Well, some of the unsung heroes, I guess, that you could think about first that didn't actually make it onto our big play board or our players of the week board. Bo Davis, a sophomore, ended up coming in and having 2 defensive touchdowns there at the end of the game. Elijah Matthews had a big punt return, another young guy doing some good stuff. Anderson Collier came in and threw a touchdown pass, when he had a chance to do it. So, a bunch of young guys stepped up. I think we traveled 44 guys, and I want to say every single one of them played the other night. Whether it was special teams or getting to play some offense, defense. It's always fun when everybody gets in the game. And at halftime, what we talked about as coaches that we didn't want to see fall off.
Right.
We talked about cleaning up some of the penalties. We had the turnover there at the end of the half, and we had the turnover on downs, which we didn't like to see. And so at halftime, we just talked about going out and just trying to put our foot on their throat and go finish the game and not letting it get sloppy. Sometimes you worry about those kinds of games when you get to the second half that it can get that way. But, even when our young guys got in the game, guys that you wouldn't expect to go force a turnover and they go force a fumble and Bo goes and scoops it, which that was Sam Gentry. Is another one of those sophomores that forced a fumble. But there was all kinds of guys, and then our dudes, of course, our offensive player of the week was LT Simmons, and he's here with us today. He had 13 carries for 160, I think. I know he was averaging, it was over 10 yards a carry with a touchdown, and he played lights out, had another 80-yarder, 70-yarder, whatever it was, got called back, which was an unreal run. But LT had a great game, followed up his game the week before. That was really, really well, really good. Caden Davis, defensive player of the week, 15 tackles. I think he had 4 TFLs. He had a sack. He was all over the place. Just played with all kinds of energy and juice. Our special teams player of the week again, we had 2 of them. But Speedwag, our kicker, had another great game. He was 100% on his PATs. I can't remember how many touchbacks he had, but he had four touchbacks at least. But the most impressive one is when we set up like we're gonna, go our pooch right, and he ends up going deep left and kicks it, into the end zone for another touchback. That's hard to do for any kicker, and that was pretty unique. But Carl Vion Young was our other special teams player of the week. He's on all special teams. He's playing really big for us on defense right now, and he had a big hit on kickoff and some big blocks on our punt return punt block group. Did a great job. Our big hit was also Caden Davis, who's here with us today. Caden, when Carl Vion got his interception, Caden got out in front and threw his body around and got a big hit right there. And then our scout team players, two sophomores that actually got to play the other night, Lane Sexton and Boston Holland did a great job for us during the week, giving us a good look. They always do. This week so far, they've done a great job of giving us a really good look. So those guys are just as important as anybody else, and we like to celebrate those guys the same as the players of the week. So.
All right. One of the things that you look for in that game, we've been talking about the offensive line and how it continues to grow up, and numbers were better across the offensive line, pretty much on all the guys. You talked about it at the very beginning here. They looked better on tape. They looked better on film than what they actually ended up being. But our offensive line played a technically good game, is the way it looked to me.
Yeah. Lots of, we always like to see pancakes, knockdowns, because, a lot of those are just effort plays, finishing plays. And we had more pancakes, more knockdowns this week. We were cleaner. Our grades were better, like you said. But they played physical. They played fast. They played with great effort. And they're starting to figure their jobs out even more. So for young guys, we know that they're going to be mistakes. So when they go out there and they play hard and they play that kind of effort, it kind of cleans up some of that stuff. But I thought they played really, really well. Lawton Eisenhower, they had a couple of starters out. I'm not sure. I think it's maybe one of their defensive linemen, but they had a couple starters out. But our kids, they really played well, and the offensive line is gelling together as well. It's a whole new group having to learn each other and learn how each other tick and learn how they can help each other throughout a game. And I think they're doing a really good job of that. Cody Volker had a great game. He got an award from Mark Rogers is doing a thing this year where they're looking for the pancakes of the week on Twitter, and Coach Madden heard Mark talk about it on his radio show on the Sports Animal. And so Neighborhood Jam, the breakfast place over there, they're sponsoring this. And so Coach Madden, he said, hey, can we put him up for that? So we put a video on Twitter and tagged Mark in it. And Mark came out yesterday and gave him a couple of gift cards to Neighborhood Jam, which was really cool. And I just realized I didn't say anything about our lineman of the week. We had 2 linemen of the week. It wasn't offensive guys this week, but we went LeBron Royal and Crazy Joe Thomas.
Right.
Both those guys played unbelievable. I think between the two of them, they had like at least 12 or 13 tackles for a loss and just flew around all over the field. Those guys, they bring great energy and juice every single week. That it was fun to watch them get after it.
The defensive line this week, more so than I saw the first week, we talk about the swarm. They were absolutely swarming, and nothing was getting outside this week, it didn't seem like. And that is a good running back that hurt from Lawton IKE. So nothing was getting outside. It looked like the defensive line and the backs, everybody was supporting everybody across the line.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it was good. We like to pride ourselves on playing sound gap defense, and I thought we did that. Our defense is based around building a wall and not giving up big lanes and vertical lanes to where good backs like that, they'll hurt you if you do that. When you get defensive linemen and they're getting way upfield, it just creates that big of a lane, and it's a lot more grass that a linebacker has to come fill. But when they play on the line of scrimmage and they play down the line of scrimmage, it makes those linebackers' jobs a lot easier. A lot of times, if a guy like Caden, if he has 15 tackles, it's because those defensive linemen did a great job of keeping him clean and keeping people off of him and letting his reads be a lot easier. If you've got defensive linemen living in your lap through the game, it's usually, as a linebacker, it's almost impossible to go do the things that, especially getting tackles for a loss from the linebacker position, that's tough to do. And so we had a bunch of those. And then on the perimeter, when they did get the ball out there, I thought our perimeter tackling was really good, especially against good athletes. Carl Vion, he tackled really well. He had some one-on-ones with the running back kid, and Todd James, he did a really good job of coming up from the weak safety spot, supporting the run game on the weak side. Jackson Vineyard did the same thing. It was a lights out game defensively. Anytime you can hold a team to 0 yards,
right.
I mean, that's pretty unreal. I don't care who it is, who you're playing. And that's with a lot of guys playing, and so our twos came in and there was no letdown. I mean, I think they got 1 first down maybe all night, and it was on a pass interference call.
It was penalty.
That I thought was really, really good coverage, but whatever. So, no, lights out. I thought the entire group, but D-line, linebackers, safeties, they all came up and played really well. And corners, obviously, anytime that you hold somebody to 0 passing yards, you did a pretty good job.
Absolutely. Well, it was a very good game, very good outing for Carl Albert. Nobody came back banged up too much, so we're happy for that. So now we look forward, and we're getting ready to take another road trip. This time we're going to go north instead of south,
Yep.
and we're going to go up to see the Pioneers of Stillwater.
Yep.
And so they had a very close game, their first game there with Tulsa Union, won by 1 point. And that tells you a little bit about their team. And then they went ahead and took it to the Enid the next week. So they're 2-0, we're 2-0, and so we're coming into this. What can you tell us about Stillwater?
Stillwater's really good. They're big, they're physical, they've got really good schemes on both sides of the ball. They do some things that are unconventional on the defensive side of the ball, especially that can be a challenge, especially to a young offensive line. You know, our guys are going to have to really rely on each other to get this job done this week. But they remind me a lot of, I think I told our guys this, but they remind me a lot of us. You know, they do what they believe in. They don't really stray from what their game plans are and what they do year in, year out. You know, they believe in playing really fast, really physical football, you know, and they are always well coached. I got to coach against them a few times when I was over at Del City, and they were always physical football games that came down to the wire. You know, and they're not afraid to go win a game. You know, a lot of
Right.
times coaches they'll coach to just kind of be in a game. Those guys, they coach to go win a game. You know, and they're not afraid to go take chances. And their kids, I think they take that on, that same personality. Play really hard. They've got really good players on the outside on their offense. They got a couple of receivers that are young that are really good football players. They've got a little running back that's good. Quarterback is a kid that moved in from Morrison that's doing really good things for him. I think, you know, everybody knows that he can throw the ball pretty well, but what he's done with his legs over the first couple of weeks, I think, is really what's kind of got them over the hump. But offensive line is way big. You know, defensively, it's just chaos the entire game. And they're really good. There's not really a weak spot on their football team. So we'll have to be prepared. We'll have to go match their energy and try to take that up a notch over in a great atmosphere. Anytime we've ever played over at Stillwater High School, it's always a really fun high school Friday night atmosphere. But it'll be in a hostile atmosphere.
Right.
It's the biggest game in the state, I think, and I'm sure there'll be lots of people there, and it's going to be a really fun game. So I know our guys will be up for it. I know they'll be ready to rock, and I think it'll be a lot of fun for everybody involved.
That kind of leads me into the question again. I'll probably ask you this several times on the coaches show, but since we did play on Thursday night, you got an extra day, and so how has practice been this week? Is everybody locked in, and are you ready to go up and make this second road trip?
Yeah, guys have been locked in. Guys are working hard. You know, our routine's a little bit off because we didn't have school on Monday.
Right.
We had teacher meetings and professional development, but the kids were out of school, so we were out of our routine a little bit. So I felt like we had a little bit of a slower start on Monday, but yesterday we cleaned it up and had a better day. And then today, obviously, we've got another big practice to keep getting it polished and getting those things going. And then, you know, tomorrow we'll do our run through, and Friday we'll get on the bus and go on another business trip. But yeah, kids have been good, and they're locked in. I mean, we like to look at, you know, how much film are they watching on their own, and this year it seems like more than other years, our kids, it's not just a few guys. Like, you could always count on Caden was always going to have 4 or 5 hours a week, but now he's got some guys that are rivaling him. We used to always talk about how no one would ever watch so much film as him, but
Right.
even young guys like Crazy Joe has been watching a ton of film, you know, and I think last week, if you go look at the way he played, he was ready to go. And so I know our guys they'll study, they'll watch film, they'll take the notes that the coaches give them, and they'll fix anything that we've messed up in practice. They'll go correct it. And so I know we'll have a good day today and a polish tomorrow, and then a good game on Friday.
All right. Anything else to share before we get to talk to our players of the week?
Nothing that comes to mind just right off the top of my head. I think we've covered quite a bit.
All right. We'll be back with you here in just a few moments on your Carl Albert Titan 2024 Coaches Show.
With a slick mouth, you better not run up on me. If you do, then I'ma trip out. You better not run up on me. If you do, then I'ma trip out. I'ma trip out. I'ma trip out. I'ma trip out. Trip out. You better not run up on me. Better not run up on me. Better not run up on me. If you do, then I'ma trip out. I'ma trip out. I'ma trip out. I'ma trip out. Better not run up on me. Better not run up on me. Trip out. Better not run up on me. Better not run up on me. Trip out. Better not run up on me. Better not run up on me. Trip out. Everybody trip out. Everybody trip out. Everybody trip out.
Welcome back to your 2024 Carl Albert Titan Coaches Show. And today we have our Offensive Player of the Week and our Defensive Player of the Week. Offensive Player of the Week, LT Simmons, and our Defensive Player of the Week, Mr. Caden Davis. And so we're excited to just have a chance to sit and chat with them. So LT, you kind of just went off this week down there at Lawton. So tell us about what that experience was like, first road trip of this year, and tell us about how you felt as you played the game.
Well, it felt awesome coming into the second week. You know, every week I come in with the mindset of having 200 yards plus, trying to get to 200 yards plus, touchdown, 3 touchdowns, 2 touchdowns, you know, just trying to get in my zone how I normally do, you know. But, yeah, it was just great going down there, showing what I got, what I do, you know. That's it, really.
All right. So I'm going to go ahead and let the cat out of the bag. You're not the tallest guy in the room, right?
No, sir.
Okay. But you seem to play like you're 6'4", 280. And so tell us a little bit about that. I understand that you're kind of a weight room junkie. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You like lifting the iron a little bit?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I'll go ahead and tell you that I have associated you with another guy that won a national championship, and he wore number 22 for Oklahoma. His name's Quentin Griffin. You might not even know that name because it was a long time ago and you weren't born. But he was built a lot like you, but he just couldn't be stopped. So you kind of enjoy that first hit, don't you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Can you tell us how that makes your adrenaline comes up when you have that first hit and you like to kind of drive the legs through? Tell us a little bit about that.
I really don't know. It's just like a mindset to me, like +2 after contact, you know. Like, I just feel I can't be stopped when I'm in the game. When I get in that mode, I feel like I'm just him. Can't be stopped, you know what I'm saying?
All right, so as we're watching you on film and as we watch you during the games, you can admit to us, because there's nobody else watching, sometimes do you look for somebody to hit?
Yes. I like people to feel me that first half. Once they feel you that first half, that second half, they slowing down, coming to hit you. So
right.
Just run past them then.
You deliver the blow instead of take the blow, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Well, you did a fantastic job. Are you ready for what's coming up this weekend?
Yes, sir. I'm pumped. This game been on my mind since first week. Can't lie to you. I owe them one. Just know that.
Okay. All right. So as we continue on, we've got Caden Davis. Caden, you actually mentioned in your first interview here at the First Coaches Show that this is a game that you've been looking forward to going up to Stillwater. So now you can talk a little bit about that. We're actually in the game week. So what are you looking forward to the most going up to Stillwater?
I'm just looking forward to see their offensive line. They're kind of a bigger bunch. They're big. They're physical. They're fast. They don't run that many plays, but they run them all well. So I'm excited to get play a well-oiled machine that they know they're good. We know that we have our guys too. So I'm excited to match up with them for sure.
All right. You had a great game this last weekend, 15 tackles. Coach already talked about it, but you look like you were coming downhill all game long. So how does that feel when your eyes are this big and you can see where you're headed?
Well, it helps when the defensive linemen just do what they're supposed to do, and they're in the gaps they're supposed to be, and you kind of get a feel for what plays they're running and what they're doing. So whenever you get the feel for it, it's easy to just go make a play when you're not worried about anything else and you're not thinking about anything else but make the play.
All right. As you guys look forward to this weekend, and both of you obviously are, you for your own reasons, and you want to see the team move together. I look forward to seeing the yin and the yang of this, and the offense and defense get challenged. And not that Midwest City wasn't a good team, not that Lawton IKE's not a good team, but you're coming up against a team that is competitive, and you look forward to that. Which one of you can share a little bit about just that stepping up? Are you ready to take the next step up?
Oh yeah, for sure. They've been tested. They had Union, and Eden's a pretty solid team. And I think the other teams that we played are good too, but we played a really good game. So I'm really excited to have kind of our first big test, I guess. So just kind of see how everybody, handles that big moment if we fold or if we come through, because adversity is going to hit, and I'm excited to see how the guys kind of handle that as it happens during the game.
All right, LT, anything?
Same thing what Caden said. I'm just ready for a big game. I want to see what we could do as a team. I want to see a challenge this game, that's really it, though.
All right. Well, one of the things that's in the weight room, up on the wall, iron sharpens iron, so as one man sharpens another. And so we'll just watch the offense and defense sharpen each other throughout this game. So we look forward to Friday evening at 7 o'clock, kicking off in Pioneer Stadium there in Stillwater, Oklahoma. And we'll be back with you in just a moment on your 2024 Carl Albert Titan Coaches Show.
Go out there and be sharp, okay? Hey, go put your foot on their throat. Go kick the crap out of them in the second half. No let down at all.
Is first down and 15. The ball is at the 26-yard line. This time the receiver, the ball's loose. That time it's picked up there by number 22. It bounces into his hand. Big man, touchdown, Carl Albert.
Welcome back to your 2024 Carl Albert Titan Coaches Show. And Coach Dunn, you just actually saw the interview between LT and Caden, and it looks like they're locked in. They're ready to go. So give us a little bit more in regard to Stillwater and what you expect to see in the game.
Yeah. I always like to hear our guys and listen to their thoughts on the opponent. And, obviously you can tell both of our guys are – they're listening to what we're saying, and they know that this is a big challenge. And I told them the other day, I know they've had this game circled on their calendars. And, we always are going to be a team that's going to stress being 1-0 at the end of the week and worrying about the next opponent on the schedule. But they're kids, they've had it circled, and they know that this is a big game, and it's a really good test. Thing I like about it is I know that those coaches on that other side, Coach K. Wood and their offensive line coach, Coach Charlie Johnson, they've got dudes on their coaching staff, and I know that they're going to be able to expose some things that we need to be exposed on. We need to be able to fix, and there's things we need to be able to get in game. To me, the best teams, and this is all throughout high school, college, NFL, the best teams are the teams that can make adjustments, and the kids or the players can go out and do it in game. Kids can come over and tell you in game, this is what I'm seeing. We're lucky that we get to use film on the sidelines. When I was in Texas, you don't get that. You can't do it. And so here we're able to watch film, but there's things you can't see on film. You can't always see exactly where someone's lined up, And so when we've got kids that can relay that message to us, come to the sideline, and then as coaches, we can go to work and try to make adjustments to see if we can fix something, and so I know that this is one of those kinds of games where the cat and mouse, it's fun for coaches, as coaches getting to see what their wrinkles are, what they saw on film that they think that they can go attack, and things that they can try to expose, and that's always fun. It's always been one of the fun things about coaching for me, and get to see our kids and get to see how they react to it. Because like Caden said, there's going to be adversity. They're good. They're going to make plays. We've got guys that are going to make plays, but it's going to happen. And so watching our guys to see how they respond to it, those are the marks and the things that you want to see. If you really, I know on paper everyone's going to say Carl Albert's got a team that can go win a 5A state championship, but until you see your guys react to certain situations, you never really know what you have or what you need to work on. And so I'm glad that we have this game, and I'm glad that this game was scheduled, and that we've got an opponent like this that is going to be a big challenge, a big test. It's going to be a fun one. It's going to be a 4-quarter dogfight, which is what we need.
Right. One of the things that I love looking at is that you have Carl Albert really looking forward to the big test of going up to Stillwater. I've got to believe that Stillwater's in the same boat. They're looking forward to having Carl Albert come up and test them as well. Yeah. And the better teams that we play, the better we get. And so I'm really looking forward to this weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I know they'll be way jazzed up. When we used to go there, when I was over at Del City, we always had a good ball club. They were always jazzed up, ready to go. They take football serious. That's like I said earlier. I feel like they're a program that's got a lot of similarities to us as far as how they do things, how they approach the game, and the time they spend and what they put into it, going all the way back to off season. I mean, they do really good stuff in the off season. They do good stuff in the summer. They play 7-on-7. They do all those things that gives you a chance to go out and be successful. And so, once it gets time, you do a lot of work in football to get 2.5 hour game on a Friday night once a week. We've always said 90% of football is in practice. There's only about 10% that's actually in a game. And so it's a lot of work that goes into getting 10 games guaranteed. And so they're just like us. They're going to take advantage of every opportunity they get. So they'll be ready to go.
All right. Well, we look forward to 7 o'clock Friday evening, and we hope you'll continue to watch the Carl Albert Titan Coaches Show each Wednesday night. And we hope you enjoyed this edition of the 2024 Carl Albert Titan Coaches Show.